Let me guess, you've worked harder, pushed longer, tried to discipline yourself, but you're still stuck with the same results. Here's the reality that no one's telling you. You can try as hard as you want, but if your internal world is not reflecting your actions, it's all gonna be for nothing. In the next few minutes, I'm gonna show you exactly how to align your inner dialogue, your inner world to match your outer world efforts so you can create the business and life you're trying so hard to achieve. My name is Yuri Elkin. I'm the CEO and founder of Healthpreneur. I'm a New York Times bestselling author, and over the past 20 years, I've been helping thousands of health professionals and entrepreneurs build 6, 7, and 8-figure businesses. So the first point we have to remember is that your inner dialogue is more powerful than your external efforts. In the business world of today, a lot of people glamorize effort, hustle, the grind culture. But unfortunately, what you don't see underneath the surface is a lot of times when you try to live that type of life and hustle your way to success, you get to a point where it feels like you have the foot on the brake and your foot on the accelerator. You're trying really, really hard, but you're getting little to nowhere closer to your goals. And the reason for that is because there needs to be an alignment between what you're doing and what you're saying to yourself. For instance, if you're working 12-hour days and you're putting all the work in, you're typing on the keyboard and you're setting these goals and working towards them, but in the back of your mind, you're running this script, which is, I'm not good enough, this is not gonna work out, what's the point, nothing ever pans out for me. That internal dialogue is going to heavily outweigh any amount of effort you can put into the actual growing of your business. So the thing to remember is that your subconscious mind, which is the large percentage of what shows up in your world, doesn't really care about how hard you're working. It follows the script that is running in the background. And this is one of the most important things that a lot of people don't realize is that your subconscious mind is like a garden and you're planting seeds into that garden every single day. And it has no filter. It's going to simply grow what you put in that garden. Some people grow seeds that bloom into flowers and plants, others plant seeds that grow into weeds. And unfortunately, you can farm and like go to town on the soil. I'm using this metaphorically, but if you're trying to turn weeds into flowering plants, it's just never gonna happen. So your internal dialogue needs to be in alignment with the goals that you're setting and the work that you're doing. And I see this happen a lot with our clients when, especially if you're earlier on in your entrepreneurial journey, it doesn't matter how old you are. I often say to my clients, it's always working. Okay, the work is always working. It's either working for you or it's working on you. And it won't start working for you until it's done the work on you. So it's not about working harder. It's not even about working smarter. Step number one is just becoming aware of the conversation in your mind, because the conversation in your mind is what creates what you see in your external reality. So think of your internal dialogue as the GPS, right? It's going to cast where you want to go. So you could be running as fast as you want, but if you're running in the wrong direction, if you're running east, you're never going to see a sunset. So it's really, this first step is really about awareness and alignment. Otherwise, you just get exhausted. Now, once we have that, here's the part that makes us even more powerful. And that's the second point, which is this: repetition beats truth every time. So please understand that there is no objective truth in your reality. What you say to yourself is your reality. Your external world is a movie that is projected from the projector in your mind. So in life, you don't get what you want, you get what you are, who you are. And it's a reflection. Life is a mirror of what your dialogue is, what you're processing, what your feelings are, what your emotions are, what your beliefs are. So your mind doesn't care if something is accurate. That's not the conversation. Your mind, again, your subconscious mind specifically, is simply just accepting what you're giving it. So if you program yourself to be of the belief and of the mindset that people are good, business is great, life is terrific, over and over and over again, guess what you're gonna see in your world? That. Now, I share that with you because that's actually one of my mantras that I look at and repeat and believe every single day. It's very much like how algorithms work on social media. You like something, you comment on something, and all of a sudden you notice that you're seeing more and more of that. That's a beautiful metaphor for how life works. Life gives you and shows you exactly who you are in your core. It reflects back to your beliefs. If you don't have a lot of money in your bank, guess what? That's a mirror of what you internally believe and what you've been saying to yourself. Money is so hard to come by. I can't make a lot. Money is reserved for those people, but not me. You have to be aware of this internal dialogue because it's already showing up in your world. So the thing to remember is that your subconscious doesn't fact check. It just counts repetitions. So you have to literally train your mind, train yourself to over and over and over speak into existence what you want, who you want to become, how you want your reality to be. So this notion of repetition kind of flows nicely in from our first step around being aware of your thinking. So I want you to, as we talked about, becoming aware of your thoughts, just kind of start to inventory how often you're thinking about certain things. What takes up the majority of your thinking space? Is it worry about money? Is it an obsession about money? Is it, a relationship thing? Is it a health issue? Whatever it might be, start to take inventory of where the majority of your thoughts are. Because I want you to think about one thing here. Repetition is going to create your reality. And at the same time, what I'm going to share with you next, so as you're starting to take inventory of your thoughts, just start to document, it doesn't have to be pen and paper, but just start to mentally document where the majority of your focus is, right? Are you talking a lot over and over and over and over again about money? Or is it health stuff? Or is it something else? Because as you start to look at this, you'll start to become aware of why things are the way they are in your life based on where your attention is and specifically what you're speaking into existence. And that brings us to our third and most critical shift for you to understand. And this is really, really important. Your words aren't descriptions. They are instructions. If you are trying to speak things into existence, then you have to be aware that your existence already has been brought into reality based on what you've been thinking and feeling over the past several months, weeks, years. When you say things like, I am broke, I don't see the amount of money that I want, nothing ever works out for me, please understand that you are not describing a situation. You are instructing future results. You are casting spells on your reality. So when you say things like, man, nothing ever works out for me, you're certainly making an observation in the moment, but more importantly, you are casting a spell for your future reality, which is only going to reinforce that belief in that internal dialogue. So if you want to think about how to create a new reality for yourself, it's not about working longer. It's not about working harder. It's not about pushing through. It's about starting to align your dialogue and your intention with what you want to create. So if you look at your bank account as an example, and what you see in there is not what you want to see, then you have to catch yourself immediately. That first thought might say like, oh my God, there's not enough. Okay, cool. So that's more like a knee-jerk response. Sometimes we don't have immediate control over that first thought, but we do have control over the second thought or the second internal dialogue. So if you notice that knee-jerk reaction of, oh my God, there's not enough, okay, we're aware of that. Now, what do we want instead? We have to start to live in the clouds, but keep our feet grounded on planet Earth. Because if you want to create a new version of your reality, it starts up here. There is no difference. Your brain, your nervous system doesn't understand the difference between something you vividly imagine and something you're actually living. If you can imagine something, it's already created in a different realm, a different dimension. And I know this is getting a little bit metaphysical, but welcome to the world of us being spiritual beings having a human experience. The very fact that you can see something in your mind means that it already exists on a different plane. Because if you constantly just observe what is, you're constantly just living this cycle over and over again. I don't have enough, it's not working, it's not working, it's not working. Versus, cool, you can observe what is, ignore it to a certain extent, and immediately shift your attention on what it is you want. So if you look in the mirror and you don't like your body, well, listen, don't obsess about what you don't like. Put a picture on your phone of exactly how you want to look and study that, observe it, obsess about it in a healthy way. And that becomes your focus. So it's very interesting because to a certain extent, you do have to ignore reality because your reality is simply materialized thought from the past. And if you understand that, then your future becomes materialized thought starting today. And that's really cool and encouraging because that means that every single day you have the creative power to change your future. But you have to start by being aware of what you're currently thinking. And the cheat code is to look at your current reality internally, but also viscerally, because that's going to tell you your subconscious programming. And as you get better at this, at being aware of your thinking and changing it to what you want, you're going to notice your nervous system is going to change. And I'll share a little secret with you here. The universe or God doesn't listen to your words. It listens to your nerves. So you can speak whatever you want, but if you do not align with that from a nervous system perspective, energetically, it doesn't matter. Your frequency is what the universe or the higher power frequently sees. And your frequency is what your nervous system is emitting when you're not looking. So all of us we can cite affirmations, we can gratitude journal all we want, but if in the back of our mind we're like bullshit, 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 or when you wake up in the middle of the night in a panic, or when you wake up first thing in the morning, your body is coming back into reality, in those moments, are you feeling doubtful, anxious, despair? Those are the things you want to pay attention to, because your feelings are immediate feedback of your thinking. And if you can become aware of the fact that, for instance, for me, I feel anxious in my stomach. So when I go through my day, or if I wake up in the morning or whatever, whatever's going on, and all of a sudden I'm thinking about something and I feel this pit in my stomach, that is my feedback. That's my body's way of telling me my thinking is not in the right place. So what do? I go right back into awareness. Okay, what am I thinking that's creating this feeling, right? Because feelings are messengers. They're amazing. Thank you so much for this message that my focus is maybe not where I want it to be. I can realign my thinking. I can take a couple deep breaths to calm my nervous system to get out of sympathetic fight or flight back into calm parasympathetic. Calm is the ultimate feeling that we want to be experiencing on a regular basis. Calm implies everything is working out for me. Why would I stress? Why would I worry? Because if you think about it, why would you? If you knew everything was working out exactly as you wanted it to, why would you not be anything other than calm? But your things aren't working out the way they want. Well, here's the thing. And that leads me to my fourth point, is that your circumstances are mirrors, not causes. So when you look at your life and you look at the circumstances you're experiencing, those are not the causes of your feelings. Your feelings and your thinking are the cause of your circumstances. So we hear things like, I'm stuck because of the economy, I had a bad upbringing, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I'm compassionate for all that stuff. I understand that. We've all had, our journey. But if you allow yourself to stay in that story, you get to recreate that story over and over and over again. Because for every person who tells that story, there's someone else who's had that experience who chose to write a different chapter. And every single minute of every single day of your life, you have the opportunity to change your future. You have the opportunity to rewrite the script. There is no rule, gun to your head, saying you must never forget and always stay stuck in the past. That's your choice. That is 100% your choice. And I understand it's not easy, because training your mind is very much like training your body. You have to do this all the time. And for a lot of you, it's going to feel very uncomfortable, because the default setting is to go back to the shit, the negativity, the pessimism. But if you're aware of that, then you can choose to change what you're focused on. Because if you don't change that internal dialogue, if you're not aware of those feelings, then what you're experiencing, your current circumstances, are only going to propagate over and over and over again. And the people who lose in life are those who keep pointing the finger at everyone else and everything else other than themselves. But when you recognize that there is only one creator on this planet, and it is you, then you start to reclaim your power and you can reignite a new reality. No one has control over your future other than you. It's 100% between your ears. And I know that for some of you guys, you're not going to want to listen to this. You're not going to appreciate this message because your life is not what you want it to be. But when you understand that you have created your reality and you take ownership of that, good, bad, or indifferent, all of a sudden you have the power to change. Your circumstances are not punishing or rewarding you. They're simply reflecting back what you've been rehearsing internally. That's all this is. So life isn't happening to you. It's responding to you. It is reflecting or mirroring back what's happening up here and what you're feeling in here. So with that said, let me show you how to start reprogramming this starting today. Number 5 here is the daily practice that's going to help you rewrite your internal script. This is like, if you think of yourself as a writer, right, for a movie or a TV series, what you're doing is you're writing out the script, and then what's going to be shown on the TV or the movie screen is what your reality becomes. Okay, just think of it like you are the writer, right? You're not just the passenger here. You are creating what it is that you want. And here's how we're going to start doing this. Okay, so one thing that we're going to start with, which I've mentioned a few times already, is you're simply going to inventory what you're saying to yourself, right? And if it's easiest, you can just take out a journal or your phone and just write down, as soon as you catch yourself thinking something that's not supporting your bigger goals, write it down. I'm not enough. I'm not good at this. This isn't going to work for me. Write that stuff down, because I promise you, if you've said it once, you've probably said it millions of times. Now, as our first step, we're simply becoming aware of it. Step 2 is once you've written that down, I want you to think about, well, what is a more empowering statement or question or phrase that I can use instead? The 2 most important words in the human English language, I am. Everything that follows after that is a spell that creates your reality. I am a loser. Okay, different life versus I am a winner. I am broke. I am wealthy. I am sick. I am tired. I am healthy and full of energy. Now, this is what we're going to do is you're going to identify those first patterns, those thought patterns, you're going to write them down. Then we're going to flip them into the opposite of what you'd rather have. Okay, so if you think something like, I don't have enough, well, what's the opposite of that? I always have more than enough. Money flows into my life like a water and river, like however you want to state it. Now, what you're going to recognize is in this process is you're going to write down the opposite, which is something probably more aligned with what you want to have in life, and you're not going to believe any of it. You're not going to believe this. You're going to be like, bullshit, this isn't true. I don't have any physical proof to support this. And this is where people go to die in terms of living the life that they want. Is a lot of people struggle in life because they're looking for proof to reaffirm their belief. But the people who achieve amazing things in life, they start with the belief, and the proof physically then follows. And this is where most people struggle in life because they have it completely backwards. You're not going to see the proof before you believe it. You have to believe it before you see it. So when you say something like, I am wealthy, I have more than enough money, millions of dollars flow into my bank account unexpectedly every single month, it's not enough to just say that and write it down. You have to put yourself into the version of you that has that. And you have to believe and feel it. And this doesn't happen overnight. Very much like you don't get strong muscles working at once. So the third action we're going to take here is once we have these internal statements that we want to start to bring into reality, is you have to brainwash yourself several times a day with this. So personally for me, here's what I do. Every single day when I wake up, there's a moment between kind of my eyes, waking up a little bit and me getting out of bed. There's, a couple minutes there. Immediately, I check in with my body. How am I feeling? Am I anxious? Am I thinking about something I don't want to think about? I have to change my thinking. Okay, I got to focus on what it is that I want. If I'm worried about something financially or I'm worried about something in the business, immediately I have to shift to what it is that I want to create, because I know if I focus on that, I'm only going to get more of that. So the first thing I do is in the morning, I set my intention for what it is that I want to create. I get out of bed in a better state. Then I pick up my phone, which I don't have in front of me, and I have all of my visualizations and goals. I have images and I have statements, right? As I mentioned earlier, people are good, business is great, life is terrific. That's the first thing that I read every single morning. When I'm stuck in traffic and someone cuts me off, instead of flipping out, I'm like, hey, it's all good. Whatever, people are good, business is great, life is terrific. I'm constantly brainwashing myself. So think about several times during the day, morning, midday, and let's say before bed, at a minimum, you are repeating these statements. Instead of scrolling through Instagram, looking at other people's highlight reels, scroll through your own statements, affirmations, visualization, images of what you want to create. And don't just look at them, feel them. Like I have a visual in my head of $198 million in my bank account specifically. That's the specific number. And I look at in that state, I'm like, all right, so I need to send a wire for $300,000 to this person and another wire for $136,000 to this person. And I literally go through it in my mind as if I'm in online banking. And I feel the feeling of like, it's no big deal. It's like I'm going to buy an ice cream as opposed to panicking and being in terror with that kind of money. Train yourself with whatever that situation might be so that it becomes your natural default setting. Because it's not that you're trying to become someone you're not. It's understanding for me that $198 million in that bank account already exists. And all I'm doing now is I'm aligning my energy, my frequency with that reality. And that's what you're going to do as well. And then the fourth step here is that you're going to do this for a minimum of 30 days. But to be honest, you should commit to this for the rest of your life. If this sounds like a lot of work, well, what's harder? Living a life that's horrible, full of worry and anxiety and fear, or spending time every single day being aware of your thinking, replacing it with the thinking and feeling that's going to create what it is you want, and just practice that all the time. It's your choice. But please, if you leave this video, if there's anything I want you to understand, is that you and you alone are the creator of your reality. And I understand that, there's things that happen in life that are less than ideal. But remember, these circumstances are mirroring your internal belief system, your internal frequency. And the sooner you understand that, the sooner you can create the life that you want. So I hope this video has found you well, and hope you've understood that now it's not about working harder, okay? Your results in life don't come from force. They come from alignment of frequency. They don't come from more effort. They come from the right energy. And your energy is a reflection of your internal thinking and your emotions. And if you take these steps that I've mentioned in this video and you practice this, not once, but every single day, I guarantee you that your life will become whatever you want it to be. But you have to commit to this. So if you're in, let me know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, I've got hundreds of others on this channel to not only help you with your mindset, but help you achieve more success in life and in business. And if you're a health professional specifically who wants to know exactly how we help our clients build million-dollar coaching businesses, then you can check out this next video over here. I'll walk you through our entire million-dollar coaching model. And if it resonates with you, you'd like our help, you can take the next step on that video. Thanks for watching. I'm Yuri. I'll see you in the next one.